Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 7.1, 7.4, Cumulative Review for the quiz. Make sure to show all your work, circle your final answers. Alright, number one. The first thing you need to do is to check to see if there's a GCF between all of those. And guess what? There is. So, let's zoom in so we're just on this one. Okay? So, you can take out A2. When you take out the GCF, that comes out front, and then you're left with 6AC plus 15AD plus 2BC plus 5BD. Okay? Now, split it in half, and we look at the GCF of the green and then of the blue. So, the GCF of the green, GCF of the blue. Now, the green, we can take out a 3A. And in the blue, the only thing that we can take out is a B. So when we rewrite that, you get 3A, and you're left with 2C plus 5D. And we took out a B, and then we're left with 2C plus 5D, which is good because that's what we wanted. We want these two to match up. So when we rewrite our final answer, the 2 comes out front, the 2A plus 5D, and then what's left over, the 3A plus B. Those guys come together to make that last one. Okay? Alright, number 2. Remember, the first thing you always do is check to see if there's a GCF. And there is. You can pull out a 9. Okay, and when you do that, you're left with x squared minus 4. Now, this is the difference of two squares, which means it's going to break up into two binomials, a plus and a minus. The square root of x is x, and the square root of 4 is 2. And then that's your final answer. Okay? I forgot to put this one under square. Okay. Number 3. Is there a GCF? Yes. Okay, once again, it's a 9. So the 9 comes out front, and you're left with m cubed plus 1. And now this is the difference of two cubes. Okay? And when we break this up, we break it to a plus b, a squared minus ab plus b squared. Okay, remember, it's a pattern. So you take the cubed root of all of that, the 9 comes out front, m plus 1, okay, because this is your a and that's your b. So a squared, which would be m times m, is m squared minus a times b plus b squared, which is just 1. Okay? You're like, well, Mr. Grice, how'd you get it? Well, that's the m, that's the 1, so this is m times m, this is 1 times m, and 1 times 1. That's how we got everything. Okay? So our final answer is right there. Okay, number 4 is a quadratic trinomial. So, is there a GCF? No. Well, then we want to know what are the factors of 72. Because we want numbers that add up to get to 1, but multiply to get to negative 72. Okay? So 1 and 72, 2 and 36, 3 and 24, 4 and I believe it's 18. Yeah, 4 and 18, no 5, 6 and 12, and then 8 and 9. Okay? And the combination that's going to work here is negative 8 and positive 9. So we get 6x squared, not plus 8x, minus 8xy plus 9xy minus 12y squared. Okay, we draw the line and then take out the GCF. Okay, the GCF from the front is 2x, and the back, it's actually 3y. So when you factor that out, you're left with 3x minus 4y and 3x minus 4y, which is good because those two match up. 3x minus 4y and 2x plus 3y. Okay, number 5. Number 5, I'm going to start you off. Okay, you check out to see if there's a GCF. There's not. So 5 times 7, which is 35. Do the factors of 35, which set add up to negative 36, but multiply to get to 35. So go ahead and pause the video, and the rest is on your own. Okay, so that's how you should have broken it up, but go ahead and continue solving. Pause the video again if you haven't figured it out yet. Okay, and there is the rest of the work. All right, number 6. Number 6, is there GCF? No. Okay, so is it I noticed that we've got cubes right here, so is it the difference of 2 cubes? In that it is. So we're going to take the cube root of everything, and we're going to follow the pattern for this one because it's minus. It's a minus b, and then a squared minus ab plus b squared. Sorry, both of those are plus. Let's just make that look like an actual plus sign. Okay, so when we do this, minus plus plus. 125 cubed, or the cube root, is 5w. And then 27, it's 3y. So that means that my a is 5w and the b is 3y. So when we're doing a squared, that's 5w times 5w. Well, that's 25w squared. Okay? 5w times 3y. That gives me 15wy. Okay? And then 3y times 3y, that gives us 9y squared. So there's my final answer, okay? It's just like problem 3, it's just you gotta follow the pattern, okay? Okay, number 7. Is there a GCF first? The answer, yes. You can take out a 2. But then you're left with x cubed plus 8, which is the difference of 2 cubes. Okay, this is just like 9, where it's going to be, you're going to break it down, and it's going to be plus, minus, plus. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can figure out the rest of the pattern. And there you go. Okay, when you take the cubed root of x cubed, it's x, and the cubed root of 8 is 2. So then from then on, all I did, follow the pattern. Okay, now number 8 is different than what your paper says, so go ahead and make the necessary changes. Okay, there's no GCF, so you're doing the factors of 30 and what? Add up to get to 1, but multiply to get to negative 30. You guys are all on your own, okay? Good luck. Pause that video. Okay, and after you factor everything out, you get 3m minus 5 and m plus 2. Okay, now, for number 9, you can do it one of two ways. You can set it up the long division and divide everything out that way, or you can use synthetic, and the reason you can use synthetic is because x equals 1. Okay, so I want the opposite of negative 6, which is positive 6. I only worry about the coefficients of my terms up here. That's where all of those numbers come from. Okay, we drop the 1, and then 6 times 1 is 6. We are adding that together, and we get negative 3. Negative 6, or 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, and we get 0. So then our answer would be x minus 3. Okay, number 10 says to solve. So when we solve, we're going to distribute. Okay, and don't freak out because there's a fraction, because 1/3 times negative 6 over 1 is negative 6 over 3, which is negative 2. Okay, minus 1/3 x equals negative 6x minus 12 plus 6x. Combine your like terms, and those actually cancel, and you're left with negative 2 minus 1/3 x equals negative 12. We're going to solve for x, so we have to add 2 to both sides. Negative 1/3 x equals negative 10. And to get rid of the fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. Those cancel. Negative 3 times negative 10 gives me positive 30. Okay. Number 11. Okay, what is the slope-intercept equation of the line that goes through 4, 6 and negative 2, 3? So remember that this is y equals mx plus b. Okay, the first thing I need to know is the slope. Okay, so we take the 6 and the 3 on the top, and then the 4 and the negative 2. When we simplify that, we get 6 minus 3 is 3. And on the bottom, we do click, click, and we get 6. And when we reduce that, we get 1/2. So remember, the formula for that was just y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2. Okay, and for the next equation, this is your y, This is your slope, and this is your x. You can pick any point that you want to. I'm going to do the one with the least amount of negatives, which was the 4 and the 6. And then x is 1/2. So distribute. We get y minus 4 equals 1/2 x minus 3 minus 3. Is that right? Did I put those two in the right spot? I didn't. That's what happens when you do this too fast. Okay? So 6, and then half of 4 is 2. I apologize, guys. Hopefully one of you caught that. Okay? And then I wrote the wrong number again. Add 6 to both sides, add 6. And then your final answer, y equals 1/2 x plus 4. Alright, let's go ahead and flip it over. Number 12 tests us to solve the following system. We're going to do substitution because the x is all by itself. So I'm going to plug in the 2y minus 12. And then we distribute all of that, which gives us y minus 6y plus 36 equals 11. Combine your like terms. Okay? And then solve. You get negative 5y equals negative 25. And then get to y by itself, you divide by negative 5. And we get y equals 5. Okay? Now, remember, we are not done. We do want a final point, but remember the point is x and y. We just know what the y is. So to figure that out, we're going to plug it in. 10 minus 12, x equals negative 2. And there's your final answer. Okay, number 13, solve the following system. I'm going to use elimination because everything is lined up and I can cancel out my x's if I multiply by a negative 4. Okay, so you would get 4x positive 12y, excuse me, and positive 28. You add those together, those cancel, and you're left with 19y equals 38. Divide both sides by 19, and we get that y equals 2. Okay, and now to find out what x is, we're going to plug it back into the original equation. Oh, I'm sorry, I plugged it in for the wrong one. So negative x minus 3, because that's the y. So negative x minus 6 equals negative 7. Add the 6 to both sides, and might be like, oh, Mr. Grice, it's negative 1. No, it's not, because you have to divide by the negative 1, and we get x equals positive 1. All right, last one, number 14. Now, the key thing right here is to solve by graphing. So if we are going to solve by graphing, we need to get the y by itself. Okay? Divide by 3, and you get that y equals negative x minus 2. Our slope is negative 1, and our y-intercept is 0, negative 2. So it's 0, negative 2. There we go. And we go down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1. And I'm going to go a bunch in each direction. Okay. And once I've got all those, I can draw my line. Okay. But now we got to do that to our other line too, and that's the 2x minus 3y equals negative 9. Subtract the 2x to both sides. To get the y by itself, you need to divide by negative 3. And you get y equals 2/3 x plus 3. Okay, so our slope is 2/3, and our y-intercept is 0, 3. So at positive 3, I go up 2, over 3, up 2, over 3. Oh, but I'm not going to hit, so then I go to the opposite way, and then right away we find out where those two guys meet. Draw your line. That's where they meet. And that is the point, negative 3, 1. Okay? Well, that's it for the Algebra 2, Chapter 7.1, 7.4 review number 2. As always, if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. If not, good luck on your upcoming quiz.